Stop. This is not a coincidence. This is a sacred interruption, because the pain you've been hiding wasn't a flaw. It was a fingerprint, a mark left by heaven that no one else could see until now. They told you it was weakness, that your loneliness meant something was wrong with you. But what if your isolation was protection? What if your rejection was divine recognition in disguise? What if what broke you was actually the signal that you've been chosen? You feel it. You've always felt it. A quiet sense that your life has been moving to a rhythm no one else hears. A longing too deep for words. A weight too sacred for the world to explain. Stay until the end, because what you are about to hear may answer the question you've never dared to ask aloud. Why was my life shaped by so much pain and so much purpose? Because hidden inside your suffering is a scroll, and today that scroll begins to unseal. Welcome to Chosen One Sanctuary, where exiles become echoes, where the forsaken are recommissioned, where heaven gathers those marked before the foundations of the earth. Isaiah 43:1 says, "Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine." And yet they never called you by your name. They only called you strange, different, too much, too sensitive, too deep. But heaven calls you set apart. You weren't lost, you were encrypted, and the moment of your unveiling is now. Stay, because the signs that are about to unfold may explain your entire life. The hidden seal, how heaven marked you. Before man noticed, you were never overlooked. You were overcovered. While others chased platforms, you were hidden in plain sight. Not because you were unworthy, but because you were already marked. Marked by fire. Marked by frequency. Marked by heaven. The favor on your life made you a threat before it made you visible. Like Joseph, you carried a dream too dangerous for premature exposure. So heaven cloaked you in ordinary skin while your spirit was being inscribed. Genesis 37 wasn't just a story, it was your mirror, betrayed by those closest, cast down into pits you didn't deserve. Not because you were weak, but because you were chosen. You weren't unnoticed. You were sealed. The warfare didn't start when you became spiritual. It started the moment you were born, because hell could smell the oil on your life before you ever learned to carry it. So the enemy sent confusion, delay, and sabotage, not to destroy you, but to distract you from discovering who you really are. And yet, you kept waking up. You kept forgiving. You kept rising, not by willpower, but by covenant, because something ancient knew your name. Something holy refused to let you go. And now, the seal is beginning to crack. What happens when what was hidden begins to speak? Obscurity was your protection. You begged to be seen, but heaven said, "Not yet," because exposure without preparation leads to collapse. Jesus spent 30 years in silence for 3 years of purpose, not because he wasn't ready to love, but because the world wasn't ready for the weight he carried. You, too, were held back, not as punishment, but as protection. While others sprinted ahead, you were being built in the dark. The silence around your life wasn't empty. It was sacred insulation, a womb for revelation, a vault for divine timing. Isaiah 49:2 declares, "He made me a polished arrow and concealed me in his quiver." You were being sharpened, not shelved, and yet you questioned your worth, because the applause didn't come, because the door didn't open, because the people didn't see. But heaven saw. Heaven waited. And when heaven waits, it's never for nothing. Forged in fire, the divine purpose behind your pain. The betrayal wasn't accidental. The loss wasn't random. The abandonment wasn't a coincidence. Each pain became a furnace. Each wound, a carving tool. Each tear, an anointing oil. You were being formed like David, hunted before you were crowned, like Esther, orphaned before you were elevated. Like Job, stripped before you were doubled. You didn't just survive the fire, you were forged inside it. Psalm 66:10 confirms it. You, O God, tested us. You refined us like silver. What looked like breaking was divine blacksmithing. And now the blade is sharp. The spirit is ready. You don't just carry healing, you are healing, wrapped in scars. But can you release what hurt you without needing revenge? When the chosen resist the call. There is no neutral ground for the chosen. To delay is to decay. To ignore is to invite disruption. Jonah didn't just disobey, he disrupted the sea. When a chosen one runs, everything around them begins to groan. You felt it, the anxiety that won't quit, the jobs that never satisfy, the friendships that fall apart. Not because you're cursed, but because you're out of position. When heaven calls and you don't answer, the storm comes looking. Not to kill you, to course correct you. This is why your comfort keeps collapsing. Because God didn't call you to comfort. He called you to commission. And until you surrender, the wrestling will continue. So the question becomes, what are you still avoiding? Supernatural authority. The hidden power within you. Your voice isn't just communication, it's confrontation. A vibration that disarms darkness. Luke 10:19 wasn't poetry. I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions. That was transferal. You've walked in rooms where demons stirred without a word. You've had dreams that warned you before reality unfolded. You've felt the energy shift, without knowing why. That's not sensitivity. That's supernatural calibration. You weren't made to blend in. You were made to command atmospheres. So why have you been silent? Why have you been dimming what heaven lit? This world doesn't need more noise. It needs a voice that carries fire, and that voice is yours. If this resonates, if your spirit feels seen, comment forward 4 as a prophetic sign. It means I am receiving and remembering who I am. You are not alone in this scroll. Others are rising with you. Scrolls of destiny. What heaven wrote about you. You were not born to wander. You were born written. Psalm 139:16. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. There is a scroll with your name on it, etched in eternity, sealed until the time of release. Every setback, every scar, every divine encounter was preparing you for what's already written. And now, heaven is opening the scroll, not to show you who you could be, but to reveal who you already are. Destiny is not found, it is remembered. Darkness. Confrontation. Why hell targeted you early. The attacks didn't begin after your anointing. They began before your awareness. Why? Because darkness knows what you carry, even when you don't. You were marked in infancy, so the enemy planted trauma, confusion, abuse, distraction. Because if hell couldn't destroy you, it would try to delay you. If it couldn't kill you, it would try to convince you that you're nothing. But the resistance wasn't proof of your weakness. It was evidence of your assignment. Even Jesus was hunted before he could speak. And you've been hunted, because you carry heaven's sound. But here's the mystery. What hell tried to break only made you unbreakable. The global remnant, you are not alone. You were not made to walk alone. You were made to walk first. And now, others are rising, in secret places, on distant shores, in hidden rooms and forgotten cities. Romans 11:5. So too, at the present time, there is a remnant chosen by grace. They carry the same weight, the same fire, the same mystery in their bones. Chosen ones. Sanctuary is not a brand. It is a meeting place for the marked. And if you're still here, you found your tribe. Echo activation. What you carry must multiply. This was never just about your healing. It was about your echo. What God did in you, He now wants to do through you. Your story is a scroll that someone else needs to read. Your voice is a trumpet that someone else needs to hear. The chosen aren't just healed, they become healing. The scroll is open now, and what you do next will echo into generations. So I ask you, what will your echo sound like? There's one truth the enemy never wanted you to remember. You were never abandoned. You were encoded with divine frequency, hidden in silence until heaven called your name. The loneliness wasn't punishment. The fire wasn't failure. The rejection wasn't personal. It was preparation. It was prophecy. It was protection. And now, it's activation. You have walked through the shadows with no map but your faith. You have been refined in obscurity, tested without applause, and chosen without permission. You did not choose this path. This path chose you, because heaven saw in you what earth tried to silence. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are becoming. You have been marked. You have been forged. And now, you are being sent. Sent not to perform, but to reveal. Sent not to prove, but to proclaim that your life is a scroll, and it is time to speak. If this word pierced something ancient within you, comment 777 as a sign that you've remembered. You are part of the remnant rising. Share what stirred your spirit. Your voice may awaken someone else's scroll. And if this sanctuary felt like home, subscribe and stay aligned with the global family of the hidden ones who are now being revealed. Because you are not alone. You are the next echo.